3-person startup with no revenue, just an exciting vision, how do you convince your top choices once you've identified them to actually join your venture instead of going to Microsoft or Google?
Yep. So stock options, which they'll tell you, those aren't worth anything. And then a friend of mine likes to say, the other part of it is vision, and he says the difference between a vision and a hallucination is that other people can see the vision. And I think that's actually the core answer to the question. So the best entrepreneurs are really good at selling people on their company precisely because they can explain the way the world is going to look in a way that is so compelling. This is the famous Steve Jobs. If you talk about Steve Jobs has what he calls the reality distortion field. So like if you get within 10 feet of Steve Jobs, whatever he says the next 20 minutes, you're going to walk out of there believing. But whatever he says. He can say the sky is purple, and you'd be like, yep, that makes total sense. And 4 hours later over dinner, as you're explaining it, to your wife, your husband, and you're like, well, I don't really know what he meant by that, but it was really, really compelling at the time. The best entrepreneurs all tend to have that in common. They tend to be really good at that. They tend to be really. It's essentially sales. Selling to employees. And so it's incredibly. It's an incredibly valuable skill to be able to do that. That plus stock options. The other thing I've found with hiring over the years is that while it's incredibly frustrating, part of the frustration is actually a good thing because the frustration, right, is you try to talk somebody into joining, they don't come, and you're like, damn it, I wasted a lot of time. But hiring is also a selection process, and it's a self-selection process on the part of the candidate, right? And so of all the people you interview, like if you hired them all, it would turn out that a good 2/3 or 3/4 of them you probably shouldn't have hired anyway. And what you can do in the hiring process, what the best companies do is they provide a very stark idea of what their company is and what it isn't. So we are a company where people are expected to work 18-hour days, and if you don't like that, don't come here. Or we are a company where people are expected to go home at 5 o'clock every day, and if you think that would be frustrating, don't do it. Or whatever it is. Or we have dogs in the office, or we have a company we've invested in where the whole company does yoga together. And so if you like yoga, this is the company for you. If you don't like yoga, don't go there. You're going to be asked to put your feet in positions that you're just going to be completely uncomfortable with. Literally, yoga every day. Company's called Asana, which of course means a yoga pose. I learned. So a very, very, very stark idea is very good because it's polarizing. And I think the best companies tend to be polarizing. And so if in your hiring process you're turning people off as often as you're turning them on, because it's just you're making it, they're sort of deciding, well, this is clearly not the right fit for me. I think that's a good thing.